Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day guys. Today we will look into topic 3, which is information gathering. For your information, topic 3 consists of two parts, which is interactive method and unobtrusive method. However, for this class, we will look into the first part, which is interactive method. At the end of this class, I hope you all will be able, first, to recognize the value of interactive methods for information gathering. Second, to construct interview questions to elicit human information requirements and structure them in a way that is meaningful to users. Third, to understand the purpose of stories and why they are useful in system analysis. Fourth, to understand the concept of GAD and when to use it. Fifth, to write effective questions to survey users about their work. And the last one is to design and administer effective questionnaires. Basically, there are three common interactive methods to elicit human information requirement. First, by conducting interview. Second, through joint application design. And the last one, by distributing questionnaires. We will look into each interactive methods in depth in the next slide. Now we will look into the first interactive methods, which are interview. There are several procedures that you need to consider before, during, and after conducting the interview. This includes preparation of the interview, types and arrangements of questions, interview report, and user stories. Interview is defined as a conversation of two or more people consisting of the interviewer and interviewee. Interviewer is the person who will ask the questions, while interviewee is the person who answers the questions. For your information, interviewing is an important method for collecting data. This is because the important information such as interviewee opinions and feelings, future goals, and concern of human-computer interaction or HCI can be revealed through conducting interviews. Before conducting an interview, you need to conduct several preparations. First, you need to read and understand as much background information about the interviewees and their organization as possible. You can find this through their website, annual report, and newsletter. Next, you need to determine objectives of the interview in order to guide you so you can ensure that you are in the right track and the input from your interview session is not too broad or not too specific. Besides, you need to decide who you want to interview so that as many users' needs are addressed as possible. You also need to preparing the interviewee by make an appointment and remind them about the interview session. Lastly, you need to decide the question types and structure. The question types and structure will be further discussed in the next slide. There are two main types of interview questions, namely open-ended questions and closed questions. Each question type can accomplish something a little different from the others, and each of them has pros and cons. We will look into the open-ended question first. Open-ended questions allow interviewees to respond how they wish and to what extent they wish. Besides, open-ended questions are appropriate when the interviewer is interested in breadth and depth of reply. However, compared to the open-ended question, closed questions limit the number of possible responses and are appropriate for generating precise and reliable data that is easy to analyze. Both examples of open-ended questions and closed questions are shown in the slide. What can I summarize from this slide? Open-ended question are questions that allow someone to give a free-form answer, while closed question can be answered with only one word or with a short specific piece of information. As I said in the previous slide, both of the questions type has their pros and cons. Their pros and cons can be found in the slide number 8 and slide number 9. There are 6 attributes that we can compare between both types of question, including data reliability, time efficiency, data precision, data depth, skill required, and level of analysis. In terms of data reliability, time efficiency, and data precision attributes, closed questions are more reliable, efficient, and precise compared to open questions. However, for data depth and skill required attributes, open-ended questions are more in-depth and skill required compared to closed questions. Lastly, in terms of level of analysis attributes, closed questions are easy to analyze compared to open-ended questions. Besides two main types of questions that already being discussed before, there are also other types of questions, namely bipolar and probe questions. Bipolar questions are part of closed question, where the interviewee might provide with a yes or no or agree or disagree answer. Thus, bipolar questions should be used carefully since it probably cause boring to the interviewee and fail to obtain rich detailing, while probe questions used to obtain more detail about previous question that being asked before. Probe questions can be either open-ended or closed questions and usually being asked in order to get more meaning and clarification on the interviewee answer. Now, we will look into the arranging the questions. Okay, basically there are 3 types of questions arrangement, which is pyramid, funnel, and diamond. You can see the detail of the each arrangement in the next slide. Pyramid structure starts with specific questions or closed questions and end with general questions or open-ended questions. This structure is suitable to be used if the interviewer found out that the interviewee seems to be reluctant to address the topic. Thus, the interviewee needs to be warmed up to the topic first. Funnel structure is opposite to pyramid structure, where it starts with general questions or open-ended questions and end with specific questions or closed questions. This structure is suitable to be used if the interviewer found out that the interviewee feels emotionally about the topic. Diamond structure combines both pyramid and funnel structures. It will begin with a specific question or closed questions, move toward general questions or open-ended questions, and end with specific questions or closed questions. Since it is complex and complicated, thus this structure will take longer than other structures. This is the common procedures that you need to apply while closing the interview session. First, always ask the interviewee if he or she would like to add anything else. Second, provide a summary of the finding that you gained from the interview session. Third, inform the interviewee about the next steps to take, for example, whom you should talk with next, and set up future appointments, if any. Lastly, always remember to thank them for their time and shake hands if possible. Immediately write an interview report consists of summary of the finding that you gain from the interview session. This is to avoid you from forgetting or missing any important information, especially if you don't record or take any note during the interview session. Once the report completed, share it with the interviewee for them to validate and verify the contents of the report in order to avoid any misunderstanding about the information gathered during the interview session. User stories are often written from the perspective of interviewee of an organization. These stories can be used as an information. However, it will affect the quality of the information if the story is told and retold over the time. As an interviewer, you should look for a fact. Thus, it is good for the interviewer to gain information through isolated stories and enduring stories which capture all aspects of the organizations. Basically, there are four purposes for telling a story. First, experiential stories describe what the business or industry is like. Second, explanatory stories tell why the organization acted a certain way. Third, validating stories are used to convince people that the organization made the correct decision. And the last one, prescriptive stories tell the listener how to act. Therefore, system analysts or interviewer can use storytelling as a complement to other information gathering methods.